Sarah Bundy, and I'm the founder and CEO of All Inclusive Marketing. We are a full-service and a la carte digital marketing agency delivering innovative and experience-driven results for our clients around the world. And I'm here with Laura Patterson, founder and CEO of VisionEdge Marketing, which is a company that enables companies to use data, analytics, process, and measurement to improve and prove the value of your marketing. Thanks, Laura, for joining me on this one. Today we're going to be going over a few different things in order to help your company move forward, to differentiate yourself, to drive increased sales and new customer acquisitions and increase your profits. And so we're going to go over just a top level look of various things. There's a lot of content in here, so we won't have time to dig deep into things too much, but there is going to be contact information at the end. So if you do have any additional questions for either Laura or I, we do encourage you to reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with you in order to help you drive your companies forward more successfully into the future. But today we are going to be going over how to understand customers' buying cycle and really talk about the 6 C's of customer engagement. We're going to talk about the importance of creating a customer buying pipeline, and we're going to go over a few effective digital marketing strategies and based on the buying stage and buying cycle that customers are at in the place where they're looking for you and your products, how to measure particular things, how to optimize the programs that you're going to be moving forward with, and really nurturing relationships. And at the end of it, you're going to be able to understand what the 6 stages of customer engagement are and how to use different digital marketing strategies effectively during the different stages of the buying cycle. So I'm going to introduce Laura and pass it over to you so we can dive right in.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And to reiterate Sarah's comment, we are going to cover a lot of territory. We are going to cover some of it quite quickly because we want to be sure we use your time wisely. But if we spark some questions or it gives you pause for thought and you'd like to have a conversation, we would love to hear from you. And as Sarah said, we have some information at the end on how you can reach out to us. So I thought I would begin by setting some context. Perhaps you're familiar with CSO Insights, which is an organization that's been around for quite a while that does a very good job of understanding the world of sales and marketing. They do quite a bit of research. And in their latest study, they took a look at what are some of the top 3 objectives companies are addressing and pursuing in order to optimize revenue. And what's interesting to note is that one of the most important objectives has to do with improving sales effectiveness. And so some of the things that we're going to be talking about today and how they will enable you to work on this type of an objective if that's one of yours. The second primary objective is capturing new business. And for many organizations, during the economic downturn, they were more focused on keeping customers, which, as you can see here, is the 3rd priority right now. So the attention has moved from how do we hold on to the customers we have to how do we pursue customers we don't have, how do we acquire new business. And as the study continued, one of the other key things was how do we generate those opportunities for new business? And so the study outlined the 5 sales effectiveness initiatives most companies are engaging in. And as you look at these, what you'll see is that a lot of it has to do with being able to identify market opportunities, to align sales and marketing, to analyze the current market, and to be able to enhance what you do to drive new business. The key thing that became evident out of this research and has been a key topic now for a number of years, and if you listened to, by any chance to the CMO Council webinar recently, one of the primary things that marketers of the future very shortly in the next year, as well as the chief marketing officers, are going to be focusing on is how to be more customer-centric. And so many organizations are turning their attention to understanding how they can use customer centricity to provide better insights into what customers want and need, how to align marketing and sales better, how to provide better ways for measuring and making improvements. So that leads us to, okay, if we're going to be customer-centric, then we need to think differently do an inside-out view. And so you probably have used or heard of the concept of the sales funnel. Well, customer-centric companies are moving away from the sales funnel. They're abandoning the notion of a sales funnel, and they're adopting the notion of a customer pipeline. Because a customer pipeline or opportunity pipeline helps marketing and sales look at it from the outside in as how customers engage with them and the actual journey customers take or make as they go through the decision-making process. So there are 6 primary stages in this customer-centric approach that will help you do customer engagement. The very first stage is contact. The second is connection. The third is conversation. The fourth, consideration. The fifth, consumption. And lastly, community. So we'll talk about each of those very quickly. In today's environment, most customers and prospects have a tremendous amount of information at their fingertips. They can learn everything they want to know without ever making contact with you. And so what you have to have is a way for them to make contact and want to give you their name, their email, their phone number. Just because they have contact with you, though, doesn't mean that they've really indicated that they want anything more out of you. So the next most important movement in the pipeline that indicates, or behavioral indicator, that they are moving forward to having an engagement with you or to engage with you is connecting with you. From connection, you want to be able to then ultimately get to conversation, whether that's online chat, for example, or other forms of online ways to converse, such as Skype, or if it's actually face-to-face. But people still buy from people they know and people they like, and so we need to get to the conversation point in the engagement process. It's because from that point, we can move to consideration, where they can exhibit consideration and behaviors, whether that is wanting to talk to customers that you already have, doing customer references or customer reviews, or want to trial or demo your product. And then from there, we can move to consumption, which is where they actually make a purchase, become a buyer, and then hopefully in time, they become advocates and repeat customers and become part of your customer community. So these are the 6 C's. And as you can see, this is maybe a little different view, and it allows you to look at it from the outside in, from the perspective of how the customer moves through their journey or their buying process. And what's probably obvious to you is that different customers, different segments of customers, different personas may have different processes. And so this might look very different depending on what that segment is or what that persona is. But the other key thing is that all of these stages are behaviorally oriented, and that you can observe them, and there can be incremental behaviors in each of these stages. And so as you think about how you're going to reach out and touch them, what the various touch points, your content, and your channels, you want to be sure you match that against their journey and where they are and in which stage. So a way to maybe illustrate that is this particular slide, which is talking about the engagement stages and how you can bring channels and touch points to play. So once you understand the customer buying journey, you can now then map your channels and touch points accordingly. So the very first thing in being able to do this well is to map your customer buying journey, to really understand what each of those segments do and what is each of their unique and distinct processes, and what do they need as they move through each stage, and what do they need from you in terms of channels and touch points to move to the next stage. So for example, again, coming to your site and potentially registering would be a different kind of behavior, a very early stage type of a behavior, versus potentially registering and participating in a webinar versus actually doing a one-on-one, whether online demo or in-person demo. So each of those things, understanding what they need, when they need them, and where it fits in their buying process so you can match what you do accordingly.
So just to support and continue on with what Laura's talking about in regards to the customer buying journey, I think it's really important to look at what are the different opportunities that are available to you in the online space specifically that allow you to increase your sales and reach your company goals, whether that customer is online or offline looking for a buying opportunity. or looking for something to purchase. So we're going to quickly touch on a couple of different marketing channels that allow you to engage with these customers at the different stages of their buying cycle, and look at not only the different channels, but what are different opportunities for touch points within these different channels, and the actual content and message that you're communicating at the time, at the stage that the customer is at. So we'll take a quick look at some of these, such as video marketing, organic, Google. We've got social media as a massive consideration, especially in brand recognition, brand building, as well as engagement, as well as converting sales and leads. So let's take a quick look at those in just a minute. It's also important to note that within each of those, there are different opportunities to feature touch points. These are not the channels themselves, but they are the touch points and the opportunities to grab a customer's attention and engage with them, have them act on something. And these are absolutely necessary, and they can be strategically selected, and the content of each can be strategically written in order to capture more sales, more leads, higher average order values, if it's actually done strategically and correctly and measured and optimized in the appropriate way, which is why these two things, what Laura's talking about and what we're talking about here with the digital side, are so importantly tied together. So let's take a quick look at what opportunities are there in the online space. So search marketing as an example, pay-per-click ads, otherwise known as Google AdWords, are a great way to position yourself in Google and in a bunch of different other search engines for desired keywords using paid search strategies. This allows customers to go in who might be looking for a Samsung smartphone as an example. You can showcase yourself, and this is a great way to connect with them right when they're in the first two stages of their pipeline in contact and connection, where you can capture their information. Perhaps they want to fill it in a lead form. They give their information, such as an email or a phone number, and you guys have an opportunity to then make that initial step to an engagement process. SEO and content marketing is also in the first two stages in contact and connection. And by using on-page and off-page SEO and content marketing strategies to rank your website, blog, or landing page in the different search results, you're going to be able to capture those guys right when they're trying to find information about the type of product that they are trying to buy or trying to learn about above your competition. So those are two really good strategies in order to reach buyers when they're in the first two stages of their pipeline. Social media is one of the interesting ones that actually not only can allow people, engage with people all the way through their entire pipeline process, all 60 stages, but they can also support people at different stages. So whether someone's completed the first 5 steps already, and then this allows people to join a community because they've liked your page and they've started to actually communicate on your wall and have a conversation, you know, that's a different stage that person's at. But it could be step 1 through stage 1 through stage 6, all the way through to the end, as this example shows, because let's say a customer is on Facebook or a buyer is on Facebook, they see an ad on their wall, they thought it was interesting, they went through, they found a white paper when they clicked through that ad and they downloaded something. Maybe they asked a question on your wall, which is on the conversation stage, which allows you to then engage with them. They then move on to the next stage, which is their consideration. They're looking at what others are saying about it. They're asking their friends about it. And then they decide to buy. So now we're in the consumption stage. They can do that actually directly through your Facebook page or directly through a Twitter account. As long as there's a link that drives through to your website where they actually get to complete that sale or pick up the phone and call you, that's where social media supports the consumption stage of the buyer's buying cycle. And then, of course, the community stage where they're able to then share what they just purchased on their Facebook wall and have a conversation with their internal community about what it is that they just purchased from you. Affiliate marketing and media partners work in a similar way, where they can either help support the customers and your efforts in whatever stage the buyers are in, or walk buyers through all the way through from the first stage to the 6th stage of the 6 C's pipeline. So different types of affiliates you could work with, or media partners could be bloggers, they could be coupon sites, they could be even YouTubers, other people who are doing YouTube, podcasters, daily deal sites, loyalty and cashback, online and offline magazines even fall under this, TV and radio, different consultants. Complementary stores are guys like perhaps you have a partner who sells complementary but non-competing products. they want to promote your product or service, that is a great opportunity, and even mobile. So let's say a buyer's online and they happen to see an article about your product or service and they read it. It's the first time that they're having access to what it is that you're selling and to your brand. And that was done through an affiliate blogger or through a media partner blogger. Because of the exposure that they've been able to get you, the buyer is now requesting more information through the lead form. After they've read the post, they click on a link and they fill out the lead. You then have the opportunity to reach out to them by phone or by email and do a needs assessment, which then allows the person to then go online, read more reviews about it, and perhaps some of those are other affiliate sites, talk to people about it, where they then decide to consume the product. They can click through an affiliate site or click through a media partner site, purchase the product, or call in a phone number, which can actually be tracked back to that person who's making that referral for you, and then leads them through to the community where they may be able to join a forum or a discussion group, which also could involve other media partners and affiliates involved in that community as well. Shopping comparison engines is an interesting one because this one's really most useful for the consideration and consumption stage of the customer's buying cycle. And this is where customers and buyers can read reviews, compare prices, different styles, look at images, and buy online. And it doesn't really matter what the price point is of these. It could be low price point up to obviously $37,000, $38,000 cameras. The point is that people are able to make decisions better, consider different options that are available to them because there's a community of people who are writing reviews and they can read those reviews. They can look at the different features and benefits of these products. And from here, they can actually consume and purchase the product directly. Mobile is obviously something that's going to be massively growing over the next few years and is something that it has to be looked at if you guys want to be a leader in your space and a main player in the game. And just really be able to make sure that you're in the right spot when where your buyers are looking. And again, this one actually supports all 6 stages of the buyer pipeline as well. So a first contact could be maybe they see your ad video or a white paper or an app on their actual mobile device. This one is from AutoTrader, and this is the AutoTrader app. So they're looking for a new car, they're looking at BMWs, they're comparing. They happen to download the app, that's the connection, where they're now going through all of the different options, they're considering different things. Maybe they send an email or call the seller for questions about the vehicle. Then they decide, okay, well, I've compared this, I've considered it a little bit more, I want to test drive the car. You go test drive the car, they decide to buy it, which leads to the consumption stage, and then they happen to get involved immediately into the community section because they start texting pictures to their friends and engaging in conversation and perhaps posting a picture of their new car to a forum that they just purchased as well. Email is something that's going to... Sorry, Laura, did you want to add something? Okay. Email is one that allows us to help build loyalty and convert buyers. And this one is going to be most useful in the conversation, in the consideration, the consumption, and community stages of the buyer's pipeline. So conversation, this is where a buyer receives an email with info on a product that they're interested in. So they've already gone through the first 2 stages of their pipeline. So they're receiving an email, they're considering it, maybe they send it to some friends. They want to get their opinions on it as well. And then, okay, they decide to buy it. They can click through the links on the emails themselves and purchase directly on the website or call in from a phone number that's available on that email. And then perhaps they join a community by simply taking the actions of joining a refer a friend program where they email to 10 more people and they get to engage in a conversation about it. And all of those people then start to look at the brand, join their Facebook pages, like their pages. You know, there's a lot of multi-channel and integration that takes place when you're using the different 6 stages in the digital sector. And our final example of a smart digital digital marketing channel that you can use in order to go through your 6 E's is video marketing. And this is an example from YouTube with taking a look at BMW's page. Now, these guys have an incredible number of subscribers. They've got fantastic videos on their site. And maybe the customer or the buyer is looking for a new car. And they happen to find a video either on YouTube because they did a keyword search or it was a featured video, or maybe they saw a new series or something that was going viral on Facebook. but it was a video that was available on YouTube. So the customer sees a video on YouTube and they watch it. And then they decide to favorite that video because they want to watch it again later, or maybe they share it with a friend. The conversation then takes place because they start to comment on the YouTube page and conversation starts to go back and forth. So they've now hit the conversation stage of their buying pipeline. Consideration happens because they start to watch other videos. Maybe they go for a test drive where they go and consume, they go and buy from the dealership directly at their local dealership. And then they join the community because not only do they subscribe to this YouTube page, but they also perhaps want to find out more about this, and they've signed up for newsletters, and they've signed up for maybe a local like car group or like a driving club or something like that. So Laura, back to you.
Great, thank you, Sarah. You did a wonderful job of illustrating the concepts, and I think one of the key messages here in what hopefully is understood is that to do this well, you've got to have done some homework. You've got to have collected some data and done some analysis, and you've got to have done the work associated with learning what those processes are so that you can do the kinds of matchups that Sarah was talking about. Of course, as you do those matchups, you're going to want to test and learn. Eventually, you'll be able to know which levers are better than other levers. So I think that's a key part of what we're describing here, is it isn't just sort of guessing. It's not guesswork. You've actually done your homework, and you've gone out and done the appropriate kinds of research, because it is really teamwork between sales and marketing. So that means that marketing is out doing some testing and learning, some research, some data analytics, some modeling work, some process work. Sales is learning from that, sharing back the results of that kind of work and whether or not it's actually having an impact, whether it's moving things faster, which customers are making decisions more quickly or more easily, fewer obstacles, fewer hurdles, those kinds of questions. So it really is about teamwork between sales and marketing. And that teamwork begins right at the beginning, right at the planning process. Because if you do this right and you understand what are the data and analytics processes you're going to need, then you'll be able to get better insight into customers. You'll be able to deliver better message continuity. You'll have more effective, or the ability to more effectively allocate your resources. And whether those resources are your people or your time, they can also be the investments you're going to be making in terms of which touch points and which channels. It will help you have fewer underperformers in your sales organization, particularly if you have a consultative sell. So we're talking about B2B and B2C here. Not everything is a consumer packaged good in the B2C world. So consultative products that require making decisions, whether that's a home, a car, an expensive appliance, maybe an expensive vacation, things where, people have to think about their time and their money and how they're going to allocate them. You want to have the sales organization to be able to be a really good performer, and so this process will allow you to do that. You'll see higher win rates as a result, improved customer acquisition and retention, stronger customer loyalty and equity, so you'll be able to grow your community, get those online reviews, have customer testimonials that will help accelerate the process. And those customers who are advocates, they're more likely to trial your new products faster and sooner, and to have faster adoption rates of your new products. And then, of course, just greater customer share of wallet all around. So it really is important that you think in front of doing anything, what you're going to measure, what are the things that measure most. And so some of the key things about measuring marketing's contribution to this process has to do with what kinds of quality measures are you going to be looking for, such as the quality of the opportunities. If we're doing a really good job on the data and analytics side, the segmentation and persona development, we should be able to identify higher quality of qualified opportunities faster. We should be able to also have a better quantity of opportunities. We should be able to have both fewer cost in terms of what we're doing in the marketplace, but the cost of sale should also be something we're looking at. The order value, as Sarah was mentioning, we should be able to see higher order value rates, and the conversion rate across the stages, as well as the win rate the number of opportunities in the pipeline should go up. And then lastly, just how fast everything is moving. Because basically the bottom line is our job in marketing is to find, keep, and grow the value of customers. And at the same time, we want to be able to prove that we are acquiring more of those. So more new customers, keeping existing customers, and we're able to do it more effectively, faster, and with less of an investment. So that's essentially what we're trying to do here. So you want to establish some common performance metrics for both sales and marketing, agree on those joint metrics, try to tie them around the pipeline and around the stages. We live in a very dynamic environment. Things change quite rapidly today. So you want to remember that things are only as good as at the moment. So things change. So you want to be open to looking at your data, doing the appropriate analytics, and modifying your assumptions and your processes, and then hold joint marketing and sales meetings together. And the process of mapping out the customer buying journeys, that really should be something that's done collaboratively. If we do all of this, is it really going to make a difference? And we have found that with our customers, it truly does. If you build out these models, you do your homework, you do your planning, you work collaboratively, you will be able to optimize and improve, and you will be able to achieve some of the things that we talked about early on that companies are trying to address and are their key priorities: getting new customers, improving marketing and sales alignment, and sales effectiveness. So think about, as marketing, it's not only marketing's job to put opportunities in the pipeline, sales does as well. We count on our channel partners or affiliates. We also count on our customers to be good referrals. And so you want to think about, how many of the marketing opportunities that came into the pipeline compared to the other opportunities. How good a job did we do? And how many are we expected to actually bring to the conversation, to the table? How fast are those marketing opportunities converting compared to others? And how much are those marketing opportunities worth? So are we able to create a higher value? And how much of those opportunities actually closed and compared to others, as well as what was the average size of those deals? So those are the kinds of things that we want to be able to collect data on, analyze, so we can, again, optimize and improve. So I guess in summary, if there's 4 things that you want to really measure around marketing's contribution to the pipeline, it's actually the overall number of marketing generated opportunities, how quickly they're actually moving through the pipeline, their value and volume, and of course the overall velocity. Those would be the things that if I were having the opportunity to establish some metrics, I would want to be looking at. And there's the opportunity there to set some common metrics with sales and marketing together, and also to determine at what point an opportunity is sales worthy versus sales ready. So sales ready opportunities are those that get passed off to that sales organization versus those that are just sales worthy for continued investment. There are really 5 key things that any organization that involves a consultative sell needs to think about inside their company. Having a good champion among the executive ranks. This work is some heavy lifting. It does take time. It does take resources. So you want people who behind you that believe in it. You want to have common definitions out of the gate. Be sure that you clarify your vocabulary. Building out a real process as opposed to just shooting from the hip. Having some tools, the right kinds of tools. If you don't have them, you'll probably have to figure out which ones you need, investment tools, whether those are tools around your touch points and channels, or if those are tools or internal tools around your data and analytics. And then, of course, measurement and using those measurements and the data and analytics to be able to make course adjustments and prioritize where you want to put your energy. If this has caught your attention, you really are excited about it, you want to get going, there is sort of 6 key steps. First thing, the most important thing, is really understand what is the customer buying process for each of your key segments. Take a look at your personas, take a look at your segments. I really encourage you to validate those. We oftentimes are, again, inside out. Use your customer advisory boards, customer councils, other sources to validate. If you need to do some real research, actually create the buying pipeline process and identify your stages and what are the incremental behavioral commitments, as we would call them, associated with each stage. Then determine who's going to own which stages, which are those that are going to be owned by marketing, which of those are going to be owned by sales. Map it all out, get it on paper, get it, if you can, configured in some kind of appropriate tool, and then measure, monitor, and report on actually how well it's working. Be willing to make adjustments as needed. If you do this, and it will take time, it's not something that's you start off, you might have the best of intentions, but it's not something that will be done in a day. But you will begin to see really some key improvements, improved best practices sharing. You'll be able to have better, more accurate forecasting capabilities, more accurate order processing. You'll have hopefully improved communications and alignment between marketing and sales. The win rates should go up. Your margins will also go up, which will go straight to the bottom line. Your revenues should increase. And what you'll also see is a reduction in some costs. Your administrative burden costs will go down. Your sales cycle will go down, and time is money in every business. And what we should be able to see is a faster ramp up of new salespeople. So we hopefully gave you something to think about. We would love to hear from you. You can learn more on each of our websites. You can check out VisionEdge Marketing at VisionEdgeMarketing.com. While you're there, we encourage you to check out our free white paper on Don't Waste Your Bullets. We're in Texas. We have kind of a Texas flair to that particular white paper, and it really goes into more detail about the customer buying pipeline, how to create one, and more about the measurements. We also hope that you will take some time to visit with Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah, really happy that everybody could join us for this particular webinar, and hope that you guys took some pieces away that'll help you with your businesses and help you make some better decisions about how to engage with customers. And like Laura said, if you guys need any help, or if there's anything that piqued your interest that you'd like to discuss further, by all means, please reach out. We can be reached at allinclusivemarketing.com. If you would like to download this presentation or any other free digital marketing guides, how-to guides, checklists, templates specific to the areas that we discuss in the digital space, from search marketing to social media to video, check out allinclusivemarketing.com/resource. And also, we can be contacted at the following places. So check out VisionEdgeMarketing.com, or reach out to Laura for anything sales strategy related, or you can reach out to me, Sarah, at allinclusivemarketing.com. Visit allinclusivemarketing.com for anything digital or tactical execution wise for your businesses. So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to engaging with you soon. Thanks again.